just with food. When we discovered sake, we found that wow, this is something different.
It kind of just naturally flows into the food that I'm making now.
It's just incredible, the variety of flavor that you get.
Sake pairs very well with seafood. It brings out the sweetness.
Sake has all these different sophistications and so much more you can learn.
Culinary Journeys, Sake, Sunday on CNN.
Hi, welcome along to World Sport Live from London with me, Amanda Davis. The chase is on in men's tennis, and Rafa Nadal is inching ever closer to that record number of Grand Slam titles held by his great rival, Roger Federer. He knows that victory at the US Open on Sunday will see him move within just one of that magical 20 mark that Federer has achieved, and he took another step in the right direction on Wednesday night by booking his place in the semi-final. He saw off Argentina's Diego Schwartzman, complete with his pretty raucous fan base in straight sets. It wasn't maybe as easy as the 6-4, 7-5, 6-2 scoreline suggests in the hot and humid New York conditions. Schwartzman really did have some moments he was enjoying himself. It was a match that ended well past midnight, but in the end it was a win that means Nadal will play Italy's 24th seed Matteo Berrettini next. And the Spaniard remains the only player left in the men's draw who has ever been in a Grand Slam semi-final before. Well, for more, let's cross live to New York and join my World Sport colleague Don Riddell, who's there for us. Don, not the only one of the semi-finalists who's been to a semi-final before, but also the only one, of course, of the big three left in it. He's got so much more experience than the rest. Do you see this now as Nadal's tournament to lose?
Oh, absolutely, no question. Yeah, I mean, we remain in the era of the big three, Amanda. It's been a long time that we've been in that era. The last 11 majors have been won by one of those three, and of course with Federer and Djokovic out of the way is clear for Rafa Nadal. And look at the way he's playing. I mean, that could have been a really tough match last night, certainly in that first set, but Nadal came through unscathed. He's gone through 5 rounds. He's fresh. He's only had to play 4 matches because he had a walkover in one of them, and he's only dropped 1 set. So it is very, very much his to lose. He has so much more experience, so much more, know-how of how to play in the business end of these tournaments and get the job done than anybody else left in the draw. So yeah, get your money on him. But of course, anything can happen in tennis. We've seen that. But you make the point earlier about how close he is now to Roger Federer. If he wins here, he'd be on 19. You wouldn't put it past him to win the French Open again next year, and perhaps even the Australian, who knows. But this and the French, and he's up to 20. And for so long, we thought Roger Federer was the greatest of all time. But both Nadal and Djokovic are closing in, and Nadal all of a sudden seems to be really close.
Yeah, and none of them showing any signs of being any closer to retirement either. And there's a similar dynamic in terms of experience or lack of the players in the women's semi-finals as well. We of course spent so much time in the build-up in the early stages of this tournament talking about one teenager in Coco Gauff, but it's another one writing the headlines at the moment, Bianca Andreescu. What a fantastic year she's had.
Oh, a phenomenal year. Actually, Coco's still here. Here's a little surprise for you. Bianca Andreescu has a pet dog who was courtside last night, also called Coco. There you go. There's your fur baby fix for the day, Amanda. Yeah, what a year Bianca Andreescu is having. And what a year it has been since she was in the US Open last year. She was trying to qualify. She went out in the first round of qualifiers. Here she is in the main draw for the first time, and she's made it to the semis. She just can't believe it.
This is honestly so crazy. A year ago, I was in the qualifying round. I remember I was suffering from a back injury, and now what I've accomplished this year, I'm honestly speechless. I need someone to pitch me right now. Is this honestly, is this real life? Is this real life?
Wonderful to see that. It is real life. First teenager into the semis here in a decade. No Canadian tennis player has ever won a major tournament, but this almost seems like it might be destiny for Bianca Andreescu. She's won 2 big tournaments already this season, Indian Wells and the Rogers Cup in her native Toronto. And remember, the Toronto Raptors, what they did, seemingly coming from nowhere to win the NBA finals this year. So maybe it's just going to be Canada's year in sport. But if she's going to go all the way, of course she's got to beat Belinda Bencic in the semi, and then she would likely run into Serena Williams in the final. And Amanda, you referenced just how kind of lopsided it appears in the men's draw. It's the same with the women's. Serena Williams, 23 major titles. She's played in more than 30 major finals. Nobody else left in this draw can come even close. But we've said this about Serena Williams before. When it's hers to lose, things can still go wrong. Remember last year, up against the unheralded Naomi Osaka in the final, she went down in flames in that contentious final. But Serena is playing absolutely brilliantly here. Her last match lasted just 44 minutes. If she can keep that going, I'm not sure anybody can get close.
Always some special nights under the lights at Flushing Meadows, set to be a fantastic final weekend ahead. Thanks very much for now, Don. Stay with us though, coming up, celebrating a century. A special new NFL season kicks off with a rivalry for the ages.
European Airlines at a crossroads on the next CNN Business Traveller.
Do you get frustrated? I wouldn't do this job if I get frustrated easily.
These CEOs are looking to what's next.
We are heavily engaged with what the electric planes can do.
A glimpse into the future of travel.
Hello.
On the ground and in the air. The traveller's experience is getting a refresh on the next CNN Business Traveller.
Go There is a daily news show that takes you from Syria to Mount Everest.
We have just arrived to base camp.
And the streets of Hong Kong. On the Texas border. To the outskirts of Detroit. Go to the center of the story.
The police are at my hotel door.
The streets are closed, lots of security out here.
Come with us. Go There, Tuesday through Saturday on Facebook Watch.
Welcome back. It is big kickoff day for another season of the NFL, and this year is bigger than most, the start of the 100th season of the sport. It may not be the champion New England Patriots kicking off the campaign, but we do get one of the greatest rivalries for this special milestone, the Chicago Bears against the Green Bay Packers. As my CNN Sport colleague and NFL veteran of 9 years, Roy Wire, told me a little bit earlier, it's a pretty fitting start.
Amanda, this is Manchester United, Liverpool, the Packers and Bears kicking off here at Soldier Field. It opened in 1924. It's one of America's most iconic sporting venues. I got to play there, and you could just feel the history. But in order to set the stage for this special season of the league, we're going to zip you through a history of the NFL in a quick 100 seconds. Hang on. 100 seasons of the NFL in 100 seconds, except it wasn't